Hey everybody, Allison here from Learning at the Primary Pond. I am excited to chat with you about rhyming tonight. Rhyming is not a lot that I haven't done a lot with it on my blog, Learning at the Primary Pond, and haven't done any workshops or anything on it. So a lot of you have been asking about it, so I thought it was time to chat about rhyming. So come on in, say hi, let me know what grade you teach. I'm excited you're here. Okay, so why does rhyming matter? Well, as you probably already know, rhyming is a phonological awareness skill. It's considered to be easier than doing things like segmenting words, cat, k, at. So it's kind of a precursor skill, but kids don't have to have totally mastered rhyming in order to be successful with more complicated phonological awareness skills, but it's still a really great place to start. And a lot of kids kind of learn to rhyme in maybe preschool or at home. Nursery rhymes, rhyming songs, all of those things help kids play with language and learn to hear rhymes and even produce rhymes. So remember that hearing rhymes, knowing if two words rhyme, is a skill that's a little bit easier than actually producing rhymes. So you say time, I say rhyme, right? That's a little bit harder. But anyway, some kids come to kindergarten not knowing how to rhyme. They haven't had those home literacy experiences. They maybe haven't been to preschool. So rhyming is something that I always address in kindergarten, even if a lot of kids have been to preschool. It's just good to at least review. And honestly, a lot of the way that I address rhyming, it just takes a second, and we're reading a book and it's rhyming. And I'll say, oh, lake, snake, those words rhyme. And the kids kind of catch on. And so they're always saying, oh, this and this, these words rhyme. So doing that over and over again is a really quick, easy way to just sneak in rhyming practice. Obviously, you have to have rhyming books in order to do that. But that's a really easy way to address it. And so tonight in our Facebook Live, I'm going to go over some other rhyming activities that I love to do with my students. These are appropriate for kindergarten, absolutely appropriate, mostly for preschool too, depending on the activity. And then some, even if you're a first grade teacher and your kids haven't had a lot of strong literacy experiences, you may be able to use these too. So we're going to chat about all different kinds of rhyming things. Hey, Erin, Laura, Melise, welcome. Okay, so activity number 1 is action words. I like to incorporate some type of movement sometimes when we're teaching rhyming. So what I will do is I will think of a word that rhymes with an action. And so like if we have the word jump, I'll say, okay, bump rhymes with jump. And then all the kids will say bump rhymes with jump, and they're standing up and then they jump. Or I'll say, skip. Hip rhymes with skip, and then they'll say back, hip rhymes with skip. You want them to say it so they remember it, and then they'll skip. So that's just something really easy you can do. You can do that as like a movement break. Go Noodle and stuff is great, but I also like to incorporate phonological awareness activities into those brain breaks, into those movement breaks. So that's something really easy you can do. And then here are a bunch of action words that you might use for that: jump, leap, run, skip, swim, twist, and anything else that you can think of. Another song that I absolutely did not make up, and you may have heard this before, and my voice is not awesome. I'm going to take a sip of tea before I sing this to you, and it's still not going to sound good. But I want to say that I learned this in my undergrad. It's the Willoughby Wallaby song. So you sing, Willoughby, Wallaby, woo, an elephant sat on you. Willoughby, Wallaby, wee, an elephant sat on me. And then you pick one of the kids' names. So we have Melissa. And then you say Willoughby, Wallaby, and you make up a word that rhymes with Melissa. Wallissa, an elephant sat on, and then you don't fill it in, but the kids say Melissa. And then you go again, Willoughby, Wallaby, woo, an elephant sat on you, elephant sat on me. Or you don't have to repeat that part. Willoughby, Wallaby, Wannon, an elephant sat on Shannon. So that's a really fun way that incorporates the kids' names too. So we sing that as a transition. Sorry for my terrible singing skills, but hopefully you got the gist of that. Another thing that I do is use rhyming books, and actually in the freebie that I have for you, which make sure you download it, it's a Google Drive file. I think I put in the freebie a list of rhyming books for you, so those are in there. I did bring 2 to show you. I think there's like 10 in the actual list. Here we go. Okay, so Over in the Meadow, illustrated by Ezra Jack Keeves. There's actually a song I think that goes with this. I'm definitely not going to sing it for you because I definitely don't know this one very well. But over in the meadow, in a hole in a tree, lived a mother bluebird and her little birdies 3. So there's tons of rhyming words in this actual book. And again, there's a song too, if you know the tune, Over in the Meadow. And then I also have One Duck Stuck by Phyllis Root. That's a good one too. And again, there's more in the book. I'm sorry, in the freebie itself. So with the rhyming books, the first time that I read one of these books, I usually just like to keep it light and I don't really hit rhyming super heavy. So I'll just read it aloud and the kids enjoy it. But then either, not usually right after, maybe in a second read, I'll bring it back and say, okay, when we read this book, I noticed a ton of rhyming words in there. Let's see if you can find the rhyming words. And so things that you can do with that is you can have them clap on rhyming words because rhyming words are usually at the end of a sentence. So, or a phrase, like, we shine. So shine, said the mother, we shine, said the 10. So they shone like stars in the soft, shady glen. So in this case, 10 and glen are the rhyming words. So if the kids know the book, they can clap on 10 and they can clap on glen. Or they can just clap if they hear a word that rhymes. So when you get to glen, they would clap and then you'd ask, okay, well, what word did you hear that rhymed with glen? And then hopefully they'd be able to come up with 10. But it helps if the kids are a little bit familiar with the book. Find ones that they love listening to over and over again and use those to teach rhyming. I sometimes will talk about it rhyming when we first read a book, but it's more like, hey, like I said before, lake and snake, those words rhyme. It's more me pointing things out, whereas I get the kids more involved when it's like a second or third read, so they're a little bit familiar with it, and that definitely helps. Another thing you can do, and this is more for like middle, end of the year, kindergarten, first grade, is once the kids have some sense of rhyme, you can take words from the book. I think I took this from One Duck Stuck. And whenever the kids find rhyming words, you can put them on index cards, okay? And then you can stick them in the chart. So as you're reading the book, you just ask them to tell you the rhyming words, you make the pairs, you stick them in the chart. So you're not really doing a lot with the words as you're reading other than noticing that they're rhyming words. But what you can do, and I'm sorry I don't have a little pocket chart here, but afterwards you can discuss the words and they can even become words that you studied. So for example, if you're working on the CK digraph ending, that's perfect, muck and stuck. And the kids will learn that some words that rhyme are spelled the same at the end, excuse me, but some words that rhyme do not. So like shore and for. And discussions like this with how do you spell different long vowel spelling patterns? That can be really interesting for first grade teachers, first grade kids. So, even if your kids know how to rhyme already, it doesn't mean that you're not going to want to mention it, and you can explore it by having the kids find words that rhyme. And this is a really interesting way to talk about different ways to spell long vowel spelling patterns, right? That's a great lead-in for that, O-U-R, O-R-E, they both say or. So first grade teachers, this doesn't have to be something that's too easy for your kids. You can bring it into your instruction too. Another thing you can do when you are reading books is once the kids know a book, and you probably already do this, you can have them fill in the blanks. So, so they basked in the sun by the old mossy, and then they know from reading it before that there was something rhymed with gate, so they fill in the blank gate. So read those rhyming books over and over again, the ones that the kids really like, and have them fill in the blank because that will show you that they remember the word or they know that it rhymes with another word in the book. I didn't put this on the chart, but I wanted to also mention that songs and nursery rhymes are really good, easy rhyming texts. Like, yes, I love my rhyming books, but also you can just go online, or if you know a nursery rhyme really well, you can put that on chart paper, you can type it up, you can go and get a song like Twinkle Twinkle, something really simple, and you can use those as rhyming texts too, of course, right? Put them on, maybe even on sentence strips. And the kids have to help you highlight the words that rhyme. The other nice thing about this too, and this is really great for kindergarten teachers, is, or even first grade teachers, you can use those as shared reading. So you're using them to teach rhyming, use them as shared reading, but then give the kids their own copies. When you've been singing Twinkle Twinkle, the kids, even the kinders that don't know how to read yet, or the first graders even, you give them their own copy and you'll see them, pointing and pretend reading the song while they're singing. That's developing print concepts. That's helping teach them rhyming words at the same time. So just wanted to mention that the texts that you use absolutely don't just have to be books. You can use songs that you sing with them that rhyme. You can use nursery rhymes. rhymes, hickory dickory dock, Little Miss Muffet, all that good stuff. If you don't remember them, just look them up online. It's a really good, easy, free way to get a text. So I wanted to mention that too. Another game that I wanted to, actually this is the first game we're talking about, but this is called Find Your Rhyming Partner, and this is super simple. So what you would have the kids do is you would give them each a picture, and sometimes this can honestly be easier to do in a small group or like half the class, because you only want each kid to have one partner. So like you give one kid a picture of a cake and another kid a picture of a snake, and then they have to stand up and they have to mill around each other and look and find their rhyming partner. So you can do it with a whole class, you just have to have a whole bunch of rhyming pictures. If you do it with half of the group at a time, that can be a little bit easier, but it's also really easy to redo, because once the kids have found their rhyming partner, you know, they stand up and they say, okay, I have cake, I have snake, and then the other kids are like, yep, those words rhyme. So you can have them check with the class, but then after the whole class has done that and they've checked and you've had them say the words, because it's helpful to have them actually say the words out loud and hear, you know, right next to each other that they rhyme, you can just mix up the pictures and give the kids different pictures and play again. So that's a really easy game that you can do. This game, Rhyming Room, the materials for this are in your free download. So let me show you what this is. In the download, you're gonna find these like half sheet pictures, and these all have a little symbol on them. I'll tell you why in a second. But what you do is, before the kids are in the room, you go, and they don't have to be hidden necessarily, but just not super obvious, but all around your classroom, you go and you stick up on the wall, you know, frog and all the other pictures that are in there. And so then you make copies for the kids of the Rhyming Room recording sheet, and it looks like this, and again, that's in your freebie. And on the recording sheet are pictures of things that rhyme with the pictures that are on these little half sheets. So what the kids have to do is they have to walk around the classroom and they have to find, for example, there's a picture of a dog here. They have to find the frog. And the way that you know that they found the frog on their recording sheet, so a really easy thing to do is like they can draw the little circle, because all of these have shapes on them. They can actually draw the frog, although that takes a little bit longer. Or if you have older kids like first graders, they can, you know, write frog, or your kindergartners can attempt to write it too with using invented spelling. But the symbols are there in case you just want them to very quickly write the shape. They all have different shapes, like there's the picture, I think it was a picture of a star. Yeah, no, star, and then car is the rhyming match, and the car has a square on it. So they're all different shapes, and you can have the kids do it that way because that can be a little bit faster, but it's really up to you. So that's a really fun game. And again, it involves movement. They're walking around. It can even be a center if you don't feel like it'll be distracting to the other kids that are working in centers around where the little pictures are. Last one I wanted to mention, and this is also in your freebie, is rhyming memory. Very straightforward. You can use, if you have little pictures that you're using for Find Your Rhyming Partner, or you can use the ones that are in the freebie itself, you can use the same cards, right? You just have the kids turn them face down, mix them up. They find a picture of a star and a picture of a car, and that's a match. That's something that you can play in small group, have them do independently. And again, a set of that is in your freebie. All right, well, that's all I can think of. If you have other ideas, I would love to hear them in the comments. If you have a teacher friend who is teaching rhyming, kindergarten teacher, feel free to tag them. If you do have questions too, I haven't really scrolled to see if I have questions. Let me know. I will come back and answer questions too. Thanks for watching. Again, don't forget to download your freebie, and I hope you got some ideas from this.